Alright, what's up everyone? It's Jerry C Alpha back at you, doing another video today. And this video will be about anxiety. This is about how to battle anxiety, what anxiety is. And it's just from some notes I took down. I got a new camera from work, so I'm taking advantage and using it and popping off this video. So you hope you get something from it. I'll be reading off my notes. So let's make it happen. Alright. So when we are anxious, right, we see our current situations that we are in from what's called a negative perspective. So we're seeing everything from a negative perspective when we are anxious. And from the lens of danger as well. When we become anxious, we see everything through the lens of danger and become anxious. And this makes us hyper alert of all of the negative outcomes that can happen in our current situation. So when we become fearful, right, and perceive danger, right, we become hyper to all of the possible dangers around us. So for example, if you are on stage doing a speech in front of 30,000 people and you will have what's called rational negative thoughts popping up in your head unless you're a professional. So unless you're a professional, you will have rational thoughts like crazy coming up. For example, thoughts just like that are crazy. So if you do bad or look stupid on stage, you might get fired from your job. People at church might make fun of you. All type of craziness comes up when when we become hyper alert of all the negative situations. So all of these so-called anxiety symptoms, right, are a result of what's called our survival mechanism, our FFF, fight, flight, or freeze. So when we become hyper alert of all of our negative possible situations, we activate what's called an FFF, our built-in survival mechanism. The FFF is something that we carry from our ancestors. So back in the day, when our ancestors would go out and hunt at night, imagine if they came across yellow, bright eyes at night in the dark. So automatically, they don't know what that eye is. So their FFF kicks in, and they can either fight, flee, or run from the situation, right? So that carries on, and we still experience that to this day. So once the FFF is then activated within us, so once we activate the FFF, and it's now, in our current situation, because that's how it happens. Once you perceive danger, you perceive everything as negative around you, your FFF is now activated. And once the FFF is now activated, adrenaline pumps through your veins and the blood runs from your head. So this also tightens up your throat, which causes you not to be able to freely talk. So a lot of people experience that tight throat and all the symptoms that come along with anxiety. So blood rushes from your head, and then it tightens your throat. So this whole thing that's happening to you is basically putting your body in what's called a survival mode. So all of this adrenaline that is pumping in your body is putting you in the survival mode. That's what the FFF does. So this activation, when it's activated, it allows you to fight, right, flight, or freeze in your situation, or hide from what your mind is perceiving as danger. So those yellow eyes in the dark is perceived as possible danger. So I'm probably gonna fight, or I'm gonna run, or I'm gonna freeze to death and get eaten alive, is what our ancestors would be thinking. So the anxiety symptoms that we experience, the racing hearts, right? The sweaty palms, your hands get really sweaty, the tight stomach, and then the lump throat. You can't really talk clearly. So all of these symptoms are response of the FFF being activated. So once the FFF is activated, you experience all of these negative symptoms. So while anxiety seems to be our problem, it is actually not our actual underlying problem. The real deep problem is that the subconscious mind perceives us to be unsafe in our situation. So therefore, it activates the FFF. And because the subconscious mind perceives danger, it automatically is going to respond to the perceived danger by firing off the FFF, the built-in survival system. So this is what happens when we, all the anxiety symptoms come up. We're perceiving something as danger, and that's causing us all of the sweaty armpit, sweaty hands symptoms, and all of the tight stomach and lump throat symptoms. So because our subconscious mind perceives that, it fires off the FFF, and the FFF gives off all of the anxiety symptoms that we experience. So since the anxiety is the response of our mind firing off its built-in response, response to danger, since that's our mind basically firing off its built-in response to danger, our perceived danger. So if we perceive anything as danger, our FFF will be activated. So when you try to only focus on getting rid of your anxiety, right, it won't work, right? Because that's not the actual problem. Because when you try to just get rid of your anxiety without dealing with the underlying problem, you're basically trying to get water out of a leaking boat when the boat is still leaking. All you're doing is staying afloat, but your boat is leaking. So by dealing with the trigger of the activation, what is being perceived as a threat, then we can fix our leak, so to speak, so we can smooth sail, right? So now, to be anxiety free, our mind and our subconscious mind needs to perceive us as being safe in our current situation that we are in. So when we are safe in our current situation, there's no need for the FFF to be activated. So because when the mind believes that you are safe, then there's no need for the FFF to respond. So therefore, there's no need for the anxiety symptoms. So it's a little game you got to play. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about a bunch of things you can do to batter this anxiety or simmer it down a little. So why does our subconscious mind perceive danger so easily anyway? Why is danger so perceived easily, right? Good question. Because of negative limiting beliefs that we have stored in us from our younger days. And because of the beliefs of our subconscious, and because of these negative beliefs that we've stored, our subconscious is only doing its job by reacting to it. So by firing off the automatic built-in response system, the FFF, that's what the mind is doing. It's reacting to all of the negative beliefs that we have. And it goes deep. So let's keep moving. So to change the perception of danger that our mind carries, we need to change the limiting beliefs that holds in our mind, so that are causing our minds to perceive danger in the first place. So once we successfully neutralize, right? Once we have neutralized all of the negative beliefs and thoughts that are anchored in our mind that we experience without being conscious of, once we have balanced those things, and ways you can balance that is to start focusing on, when you feel anxious, focus on what you do want. Right? Focus on what you do want. If you have to write it down, do so, because it's much easier. You can go back on it. Basically, once you start paying attention to your anxiety, then you can start to understand it, so you don't feel too anxious, because you have some understanding. Right? So that's a way you can deal with that there. We're not done. The video is still going. So once you neutralize the negative thoughts by either focusing on what you want, because really when you are anxious and you're in a state of anxiety, you have a chance to focus on things that are making you anxious, so you can either grow from them or get better from them. So the FFF will not activate once we have changed our limiting beliefs in our mind, right? So that's how we can battle anxiety in this quick video here. And here are a few tips that you can do as well. Things that you can do is breathing. You can do deep breathing. There's a lot of videos on the tube that you can go watch, but breathing helps. I've been doing breathing for a while, about 2 years. You learn to go deeper into breathing. It relaxes the tension in your muscles, causing you to relax. So it does a lot too. Breathing also provides energy and oxygen to your blood, which helps you to look younger, and a lot of benefits. So breathe deep. You can watch quick 5-minute videos. Besides breathing, you can use your logic. If you're fearful about anything that doesn't make sense and all the rational thoughts that are coming up, you can be logical and really start talking to yourself like, is this thought really true, or is it just a total collection of all of the negative thoughts that I'm perceiving right now? So use your logic. Do deep breathing. Some people do a lot of meditation to help. I do that as well. Meditation means a lot of different things. So there's a lot of ways you can meditate. Doing mindful breathing though would definitely help. And yeah, let's battle some anxiety. And let me know if you got questions. Put them below. Peace.